Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Real Heroes Show. You got Corey, Nick, and Shane here with you today. It's Monday. It means it's Ted Lasso. We're back on track off of Beard's Bender the week before with the episode entitled No Weddings and a Funeral. And you can't spell funeral without F-U-N. And that's what we're here for on The Real Heroes Show. There are going to be spoilers in this episode. If you haven't seen it, get the hell out of here. Go watch on Apple TV. Shane, did you get hit with a shovel or did you get sunburned? Which one is it?
I got sunburned. I was at the Texas game this weekend and I missed a spot apparently. So yeah.
Was it worth it? Did they win?
Oh yeah, we won by 35 points.
Okay, yeah, that's a pretty big
substantial.
One. Yeah, happy to hear it. Nick, how are you, sir?
Doing all right. Watched a lot of stuff this weekend. I don't know how, but managed to just watch 16 different episodes across like 5 or 6 different shows. That was fun. Dolphins lost in overtime, so I'm a little stingy about that. But
however, here in Orlando, the weather is starting to break a little bit. It was 75 degrees outside tonight when I took a walk.
It was actually very nice this weekend weather-wise, so I appreciated that.
The first weekend we get nice weather, and you're stuck inside watching 16 episodes of television for this show that we make no money off of. Please like and subscribe so that we can start making money off
the dedication is real, people. I hope you understand that.
Oh man, good stuff. So let's dive right into this Ted Lasso episode. We've got 4 main topics that we want to talk about and then do some predictions for the week after. So let's just dive right into the biggest moment of the episode, probably the biggest moment of the entire season so far. This terrifically cut and edited scene where Rebecca's talking to her mom, Ted is talking to the therapist, and what a masterclass in what gets done after the camera captures all the information. Shane, you want to kick this one off and let us know your thoughts?
We've been talking about the build up to this moment for a long time, and I certainly did not see that sort of cross-cutting coming at all. I mean, I thought we would get the Ted moment, and everyone knew that was coming. And I thought it was beautifully acted by Jason Sudeikis, by the way. It's just incredible. And then of course you add Rebecca's moment as well. And I just thought it was just so innovative, like a way to kind of connect to these characters through a moment that I think we're meant to believe happened on the same day.
Yeah.
Which was, terrible that they both had these terrible moments happen to them on the same day. And there's that connection. But like that, it was such an innovative cross-cutting. Like that's something that came from the writer's room, because you can't write it any other way.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I just thought that was such a cool way of doing that. And it was just heartbreaking watching both of them break down at the same time. And then, of course, like in the end, when Ted comes in and gives her that support, it was just a nice little tied moment.
Yeah, I agree. Nick, what do you think?
I think Shane, hit the nail on the head on this one. It was a beautiful moment. Great writing. Great acting by Hannah and Jason. Obviously, well deserving of those trophies that they were holding not too long ago. So, I think it was like a bit dusty in all of our rooms for some reason. But
cutting onions.
Yeah, it's just I don't know why I was decided to have the fan blasting on high. Didn't have my AC on to filter the air, and just. Onions because I wanted to cook dinner and eat and watch at the same time. So just a bad choice for me altogether. But I think the big thing about this episode was just like an ode to fathers, right? In different areas of life, and just how much of an effect they can have on people. So that's one thing I thought of was just to say, like, shout out to all the good fathers out there, I think as an ode for them. And I was glad we actually finally got to see this big moment. It's only took maybe 10 episodes, because I saw a clip from last season. I totally forgot about it. That there's the night of karaoke, when when Ted first had his anxiety panic attack, right? And Hannah was there for her. Wow, I'm referring to the real life fans.
We're all
right
friends with the actors of the show, clearly, with our 300 subscribers.
Yeah, right. Subscribe. But it's finally come to this, so I'm finally glad. Yeah.
It's such a good little message too, where it's like, he was a great dad, and I don't think he knew that.
Yeah.
And it's like
big
it's just a
time.
good message. Like sometimes just, let people know that they're doing a good job.
Yes.
Like sometimes that's all they need is just that reminder, that one little moment.
Yep.
All it costs you is time
Yeah.
to be
Exactly.
able to give somebody a compliment or tell them to do something well. Like it's so easy in today's world, in like the social media bubble and everything, to shit on stuff and talk about how bad it is, but
Yep.
it's not often where you just see people dole out a compliment. So just be a good person from time to time. It killed
It's easy.
me when they finally had their hug between Doc Sharon and Ted.
Yeah.
I loved how instead of answering the phone and calling him Coach Lasso, she answered the phone and called him Ted in this
Yeah.
episode. Thought that
Yeah.
was really cool. I also thought that it took Rebecca's father dying to be the vehicle that they used to show Ted's true emotion towards his father. And it killed me that he didn't go to his dad's funeral. Like that,
Yeah.
man, that tore me up. So no matter how hard it is to lose somebody or how angry you might be about the situation, to not go is something that he probably deals with a whole lot of regret for and a lot of guilt for probably the rest of his life.
Yep.
And the anxiety attack shot with the army man that his kid gave him, and then the dartboard was really good.
And the fire truck.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
The fire truck. Yep. And when Sharon said that she was going to charge him for the session,
that was
just
great.
like of course I am. That was like the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
They understand the characters they're writing for, which was truly awesome. So
Yeah.
moving right along, the other, boy, the cringe. I had to put my head into the pillow of my couch for a little while during this. Let's talk about Sam and
Let's
Rebecca.
talk about Mr. Wonderful.
Oof.
So Sam and Rebecca, Nick, we predicted this. We thought that she was going to cut it off in this episode. What were your thoughts on how it played out and how they did it in practice?
Sam just seemed to take it rather well. From the circumstances of where it was done, in a closet, at a funeral for Rebecca's father, but a couple of things that, when Keeley figured it out, on the second guess it was,
that was great. Yeah.
And it's like the whole thing of what are you worried about? Is it the press? It's like, I don't know. Yes, maybe. But then, there was probably a lot more to it. And again, we all kind of knew that we said that wasn't going to last. And it was just sort of like it was just a fling, if anything. And I think that's all Rebecca was looking for at the time, because she was starting to live freely and kind of, fly again. Where Sam sort of being younger, like, he's 24, he's kind of like just unsure and inexperienced and just like, oh my God, I love this. I want to stay in love. And it's like, dude, you're so young. Like, she could be your mother, no offense, but it's just one of those things where like, this isn't the answer, Sam, sorry. And, but curious to see where it all leads, with how Sam responds.
Going to be interesting, especially given what we saw in the next paragraph on Apple TV's app that describes next week's episode, but we'll get into that towards the end of the video. Stay tuned to the end to find out. I thought it's just Rebecca's had such a go at it in life where being happy doesn't even ever seem like an option, whether it's dealing with her parents, dealing with Rupert, who showed up and was quite a shit in this episode. We'll talk about him later too. It's almost like she's afraid to be happy. Even though she feels deep down in her bones that what she's got with Sam is making her happy. They even said, I think at one point, you're at a funeral, but you're glowing, right?
Yes.
She found that person that Roy was talking about in the beginning of the season that makes her feel like lightning is striking, or whatever he said. And she let it go because she's afraid. And I have a sinking suspicion that by the end of the season, they'll be back on. But Shane, how do you feel about that?
No, I agree. I think it's going to come back. But I think it's also refreshing to see like a breakup in a show that is very adult. It's like they both talked about it and they agreed, and there wasn't like any melodrama about anything. It's, Rebecca said, no, I don't want to do this anymore. And Sam was like, okay.
All right.
Like, I respect that. And I think that's another good message that this show puts across. I did like how smooth he was, though, at the end with I'm only going to get more wonderful.
Yeah.
That was pretty smooth. Sam's always freaking smooth.
I think Ted and Rebecca are getting together. I'm sorry.
You think so?
Yes. Dude, I was going to say, look at the ending, right? When she's giving her eulogy, right? And Ted walks in late and her eyes just beam straight to him. And like she's stuck. And then he's kind of like, then he helps, helps move on with the words and like
making the sour face right now.
I don't think that's gonna happen. I think it is. I think it's meant to be just like they console each other, but not romantically.
Perhaps. I mean,
like
I know
you mentioned, like
she
was there
sassy.
for him.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, Ted's hung like a horse. Who knew? We got confirmation of that in this episode. Bryce and Sam too. Everybody on Ted Lasso's just got a big swinging dick. How about that? God, I wish I was on Ted Lasso.
That's the title of this review.
No wonder my application came back and said denied. Son of a bitch. Ay.
Oh man.
Oh God. A lot of big dick energy on Ed Lasso this week.
BDE,
yeah. So we'll see what happens with that. I don't want to call it a love triangle, but segue into a potential love triangle. God, I'm good at my job tonight. Jamie and Keeley and Roy. So we got a little bit of arguing, or not even really arguing. It was more just like Keeley getting irrationally upset over things. Yeah. Jamie confesses his love to Keeley and says that part of the reason he came back to Richmond is not because of football related reasons or his dad or any of that. And it's because he's in love with her. Not a fan of that part of the storyline. Not gonna lie.
I don't know. One of the questions I had was: Do you think that was forced in for dramatic purposes, or do you think it actually makes sense? Because I mean, I don't know. I think if you take that out, everything that was his storyline prior to this moment in time made enough sense for his character, and there was still enough to get through because the last major moment we saw from Jamie was him punching his dad in the locker room after being blasted 5-0 by his former team while playing on his other former team. So I still think there's a lot of stuff that needs to be made up there. And then it's like, we're going to go ahead and throw this love triangle at you guys now when the entire season we're like, wow, Roy and Keeley are just meant to be together.
Yes.
Yeah. It was interesting too, because like earlier in the episode, there were shots of Keeley looking at Jamie.
Yes.
I don't like it. It stinks and I hate it. I'm not for it.
And then also remember when Jamie punches his dad and Roy comes up to him and gives him a hug and he cries in Roy's arms.
That's another. She likes guys looking vulnerable.
But Roy obviously looks vulnerable. She wasn't there. She doesn't know about that, right? But it's like if she knew about that moment, who would she find more vulnerable? The guy that goes up to the other guy and embraces him, or the guy that once embraced by another man is the one who does the crying. So
that's tough, man. Did y'all notice in this episode, Jamie says, "I love you" to Keeley, and she doesn't react.
Yep.
Roy says, "I love you" to Keeley, and she doesn't react. Rebecca says, "I love you" to Keeley, and Keeley says, "I love you too." I'm shipping Rebecca and Keeley.
Yeah, that's.
I think we all should.
That's that's the real connection at the end, guys. We figured it out.
I thought that was, and it was kind of surprising when she didn't reciprocate that to Roy. I figured that they were kind of past the telling each other they love each other stage.
Yeah,
that doesn't feel like. I could be wrong, but like it doesn't feel like that's the first time that he has said that. I feel like they would have made a bigger deal about that. Like, I assume that they'd say "I love you" a lot by now. I don't know.
But maybe she just wasn't in the mood because she just heard Jamie say it. And
I think she was just like not in a good headspace.
I think that these writers are smart enough to realize that they have something special with Roy and Keeley, and that this is just kind of like a let's kind of scare the pants off the audience sort of thing and make them worry about it. Really? You think they're going to go?
So this is like, I can go on a whole tangent about The Office right now, but when Jim and Pam got together in The Office, it suddenly stopped being interesting because there was no sexual tension anymore in the show. So I wonder if they're kind of doing that, where it's like, they're so perfect we have to kind of throw a curveball in there. And I guess they did that in that one episode, but I just wonder if like they're gonna drag that storyline out a little bit longer, and so they needed some kind of a break or something.
Well, we've only got 2 left, so
yeah. No, I mean just recurring. Like it could be they break up at the end of the season.
I was gonna say we're getting towards cliffhanger part of the season, so that could happen. Very, very interesting. Last topic we've got on here. Rupert, our good friend Rupert, cheating son of a bitch with a woman a third his age and a baby that
breastfeeding at a funeral,
and the mom needs to sleep in the crib with the kid. Weird stuff going on.
I don't know.
Rupert has an interesting little chat in the background of a shot with Nate, and he whispers some stuff to him conveniently right after he gifts away all of their shares in AFC Richmond back to Rebecca.
Yep.
Shane, I think you had told us about this rumor. Why don't you go ahead?
I mean, the big rumor that everyone's talking about is, he's gonna divest his shares in Richmond, buy a different club, and then poach Nate. Like, I think that's by far the most likely way they're going with that. Or try to poach Nate. Maybe it's a failed thing, and we Nate is back on it. Yeah. But it could go the complete other way, because if you think about it, like Nate's got all this dirt on AFC Richmond by now. With all those confessions and stuff, and he's been kind of an asshole. So maybe they're setting him up as like the major villain of the next season.
It's possible.
Which would be honestly kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like it'd be a really cool little like conflict to set up going into the next season.
And then Jamie leaves the team because Keeley went with Roy, and then
he goes to that team, Rupert's team.
They said it was an Empire Strikes Back, so I don't expect this season to end happily.
So whose hand has gotten cut off this season?
Whose hand is going to get cut off? That's a good question. Colin, I don't like that guy.
He's a strong and capable man.
His balls have been cut off all season. That's for damn sure.
That is very sure. So I think it would be personally neat if they did something like that, because right now it seems like Richmond's big rival is Man City. And if we're being realistic, Richmond probably never has an actual chance of beating Man City, just the way that the show has made it. Man City came in, cleaned them out 5-0. They moved on to go do bigger, better things and keep winning. If it's a team that's slightly lower on the totem pole than Man City that Rupert invests in and poaches Nate over to, that could become their new big rival, and that could be the entire arc of season three. Which
it's a good way. Like, there's a big like most of the critiques about this season is there's no major antagonist. With most people saying, mental health and past issues are the main antagonist of this season.
Yeah.
Whereas Rebecca was the main antagonist of the first season.
Right.
Yeah.
And so they may be setting up kind of a similar arc with Nate as they did with Rebecca, where, Nate is originally the asshole and then comes back to the good side at the end. And they take off his mask. There's Ewoks dancing.
Let me look at you with my own
eyes. Here to save you. You already have, Ted. Wasn't Nate like the fucking water boy or something at the beginning of the first season? Like, he's already been saved. Get out of here.
If anything, he's like a fallen Jedi, like he's a Padawan gets turned into a Jedi, and that's it. I also think Rupert could be, sort of maybe that was an idea he proposed to Nate, right? Just to throw the chemistry off in Richmond. And then in the end, he doesn't end up on the other team, and then he just gets left in the middle, and Nate kind of comes. It's almost like, will it humble Nate if Nate doesn't get humbled before then?
Yeah.
So,
Nate was also the only person that showed up not wearing a black suit to the funeral. Like, what a dick.
He had some line. He tried to say, like, I didn't want to sound like the other people, but sorry for your loss. Like,
I don't know. His character has been strangely
what an a-hole,
aloof. During this entire season, which could be the the crescendo leading towards something big happening with him.
Yeah, they're definitely going somewhere with that. I mean, especially starting the season. We talked about this in the very first review. Starting the season on Nate. That's the first shot we see.
Yep. Couple other quick things that I wanted to mention that I thought were funny that we don't need to really talk about too much. Dani not being able to wear dress shoes.
God, so
absolutely
funny.
Cracked me up. Like his ticket to punch to life is his feet. And he's damaging his feet by wearing those shoes. His feet are all black and blue at the end and whatnot. I thought that was really funny. Roy saying that he wished that one of his relatives that died would come back as a ghost, like Obi-Wan Kenobi or some shit, and talk to him. Got to get the Star Wars reference in there. And then I recently watched Spider-Man 2 on 4K Blu-ray to do a review for this channel. And during this episode, Roy says, "Avenge me, avenge me," which is literally what Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin says to Harry Osborn all the way at the end of that film. And that is like a deep cut reference without like saying, hey, this is like an overtly Spider-Man thing or whatever, but it had to be intentional, and I thought it was great. So
what did Jamie say? He goes, the dress shoes are for sheep, muggles and twats.
That was almost like a Billy Butcher line from the Boys.
It was, dude. I loved that line. And then of course Dani was wearing Rebecca's like pink slippers at the end. That were the same size, and she's like, "You can keep them.
You can keep them, Dani. Please."
Wow.
Get the fuck out of my house.
Before we wrap up, I want to mention two things. One, find you somebody that loves you as much as Sassy loves Rebecca. Sassy is incredible. I love her so much. When she tells off Rupert, it is awesome.
I literally said to Amira, I was like, God, I love her. She awesome. Is amazing. What a great character. I forgot the exact line, but when she says to him, "When you die, I hope you you fucking burn in hell," or something like that. Just something outrageously offensive. But I'm sitting here laughing at it.
Oh, it's awesome.
I'm gonna wear a red dress to your funeral.
Yes.
It's like, so the other three people that show up can see it. Fuck off and die or something.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, fuck off and die, dude. I was like, wow.
The second thing is like, what a Rickroll.
Oh, God.
I totally did not see that.
The whole
coming.
episode was the giant Rickroll. We got Rickrolled.
I did
numerous
not
times.
see that coming at all when she was up there and went into the Rickroll. I had no clue that was coming. That was great.
Yeah.
What's this old VHS tape?
They had the Rickroll thing play in the beginning because the mom plays it through the whole house.
Yep.
She sings it at the funeral.
Yep.
Once she's done singing and they're cutting from one scene to the other, the organ plays the main melody in the church, and then there's the VHS tape at the end. That's 4 Rick Astley appearances. In this episode.
Yep.
That's wild stuff. Who knew?
And then the big Easter egg of where Rebecca's mother says, "That's Rick Astley. I thought he was black," which is an old Easter egg that people thought he was black, decades ago.
Yep.
So hilarious. What great writing. Again, those little pop culture references. Just
wasn't that the last line of the episode?
I'm pretty sure.
Before it faded to black.
Yeah.
No pun intended. We are getting canceled tonight.
Fade to Black. Name that band.
So Nick, why don't you read us what Apple is teasing out for next week so we can pontificate on that.
Yeah, so the title of that is called Midnight Train to Royston. Not too sure where Royston is in the UK, but that's what Google Maps is for. Apple Maps.
Apple Maps.
JK, retract that. A billionaire football enthusiast from Ghana makes Sam an unbelievable offer. Ted plans something special for Dr. Sharon's last day with the team. What do you think that special thing is?
He's got a big slinging dick, so maybe that's it. Jesus.
All right, we're canceled, guys. Have fun. This one lasted.
I'm glad this is at where are we in the show? 24 minutes in. So
people probably won't watch this.
Nobody's
part,
watching
so
it's
it's fine.
So we can.
We're good. We're good.
What? Everybody needs a little bit of love sometimes. Feels good.
Look, I think neither of them are strangers to love. So Maybe he knocks her up.
He's listening to Easy Lover
Whoopsie
as he's getting
daisy.
ready for the funeral at the beginning of the episode. So no, I don't know, man. It's interesting that it's already her last day. It feels like the season just started and we were just getting introduced to her, thinking that she was going to be the big villain of the second season. Or were we wrong on that one?
Quite.
But Shane, I think you said before we got on the call, all right, the arc is resolved.
Yeah.
Now it's your last day. See ya. It's interesting.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about that. And it depends on how well they do it. But and it feels like one of those things where like I hope she gets a good send off. And it seems like they're doing that because it is a little weird where it's like now you're not relevant to the plot anymore. So we're gonna dump you out of the show. So I don't know. I hope it's executed better than I'm putting it in words right now.
Yeah, we'll see. What are we thinking about this this offer that gets made to Sam?
I don't know. Billionaire in Ghana. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I think we might see something from Sam's father. You know, that he might say, "Oh, it would bring you close, kind of closer to home than being across the sea in a different continent." I wonder if this would also play into the fact that of why it wouldn't work out between them. Like now you're even farther away. So it's almost like that's, and again, he's not with her. So why not take that offer?
Sam arc is resolved, so dump him. Just like Sharon.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of crazy, but I still think even if he does, he does go over, there's potential for him to, come back in another episode, so to speak.
And that could set up like a grand reunion between Sam and Rebecca. Distance makes the heart grow fonder, all that.
Right, exactly. There's that opportunity. I mean, look, maybe Ted continues to reach out to Sharon for further therapy.
Sorry, I don't want to cut you off.
So no, I was to say so I think there's that still room for her to kind of be in the conversation.
Like, you think she'd become like his personal therapist?
Yeah, potentially.
Good.
It's possible, knowing how this show operates, it's possible that Sam leaves and goes overseas for at least the end of this season. And we get sort of like a Ross and Rachel homage with Rebecca and Sam, where maybe Sam comes back and he's got another woman in his life. And Rebecca has to compete with that. I could totally see, like, knowing what we know about this writing team and how they love, old 80s and 90s tropes, I could totally see that being the case.
She's like a princess or some shit like that.
I don't know. But
which the title of this episode was No Weddings and a Funeral, which is like four weddings and a funeral, which is that
Richard Curtis. It's the same guy who did Love Actually and About Time. So we talked about Love Actually.
There it is. So it's all deliberate. They do everything on purpose, and it will be interesting because we are running out of time for this season. There's next week and the week after, and we'll see where it all goes. Did you guys notice that over the last 3 weeks, this show has become a 45-minute long drama instead of a 30-minute comedy?
Yeah.
I wonder if that's going to be the new norm for just every episode moving forward.
More Ted, I love it.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Yeah. Speaking of running out of time, we're running out of time for this episode. We're gonna wrap things up with a quick rating for this one. Shane, out of 10, where are you going?
I'll go with I'm torn between 9 and 10, but like that moment was just so good with the cross cutting. I might go 10.
All right.
This is like the best episode of the season for me, and I already gave 1 a 10, so I have to give this one a 10.
Okay, fair enough. Nick, how about yourself?
Yeah, I was going to give this one this episode a 10. First 10 of the season for Ted for me. So it ironically on the 10th episode. So
look at that.
Yeah, I didn't plan it, I swear.
I'm not giving it a 10 because I don't like the Jamie and Keeley thing.
Sure.
That brings it down for me just a little bit.
I didn't mind that. So.
I'm gonna go 9.3 on this one because it was very good. I don't know if it was the best one for me. I really like last week's episode as we discussed. So we'll see once the season's over. we could revisit it and kind of come back and figure that out and kind of do like a post-mortem on all this stuff. But that is going to do it for this video. Hopefully y'all made it through to the end, enjoyed the format that we took on here tonight. I would love to hear from all of you. Drop a comment below. Let us know what's going on, what you thought about this episode, where you think it's going, what you think they're going to do with the short amount of time they've got left for this season. Anyone that leaves a comment, we will respond to every single one that comes through. If you would like to support us, all you have to do, like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, turn on your notifications, share with your friends, and find us on social media. We are on Twitter and Instagram at Real Heroes Show. As Nick mentioned at the top of the broadcast, we watched a lot of television this weekend. So we're going to have this video. Nick posted a review from episode 5 of C last night. We're going to have the first 2 episodes of Foundation tomorrow, Midnight Mass probably tomorrow also, Marvel's What If on Wednesday, a 4K review of Spider-Man 2, and then Venom comes out next weekend.
Yeah.
Guilty comes out on Netflix. There are more episodes of all these shows. We're burying ourselves in content, and we're gluttons for punishment, and we enjoy it. So please be on the lookout for all of those things and so much more. Until next time, we'll see you guys in the next video.
Cheers.